Hikuleo turned on his blood and helped Solo Sikoa win United States title at Night of Champions. But the real reason why he joined Solo Sikoa's faction will shock you to the core and way deeper than anyone knew. For years, Hikuleo stood in the shadows of the Anoa'i family, overlooked, underused. So when Solo called, he saw it for what it was, revenge. This wasn't about gold. It was about respect. Hikuleo didn't betray Fatu. He chose himself, for the first time in his career. Now, with Solo on top and Hikuleo beside him, the bloodline has new blood and no mercy. Follow now, because this family war just got personal. Night of Champions was supposed to be Jacob Fatu's defining moment. The Samoan werewolf had fought tooth and nail to get here, through betrayal, through blood, through war. Standing tall as the United States champion, with the crowd roaring and the legacy of the Anoa'i family burning on his shoulders. But what happened that night wasn't just a title match. It wasn't just another chapter in the bloodline's long and bloody history. It was a reckoning. And at the center of that betrayal stood someone no one expected, Hikuleo. The moment he stepped into the ring, everything changed. Jacob Fatu's eyes widened not in fear, but in disbelief. Because standing across from him wasn't an enemy. It was family. Blood. A brother not by birth, but by culture. Hikuleo, tall, silent, powerful, walked down that ramp not with hesitation, but with purpose. And when his massive hand came crashing down on Fatu's spine, the shock that ran through the arena wasn't just because of the impact. It was because of the message. A message years in the making. Hikuleo had always been there, lurking just behind the spotlight, a towering presence in the background of the Anoa'i dynasty. While Roman Reigns carved a path through WWE history, while the Usos headlined WrestleMania, while Solo Sikoa tore through challengers with icy silence, Hikuleo waited. He watched. A son of Haku, raised with the same warrior blood, yet never fully embraced. Always on the outskirts of the family power circle. When New Japan Pro Wrestling whispered his name, the American audiences barely blinked. When he returned to the States, there was no grand welcome, no open arms from his Samoan brothers. He was family, but not quite. And yet, that night at Night of Champions, it all shifted. Because the moment Solo Sikoa called, he answered. And he didn't just answer with fists. He answered with years of buried frustration, with the anger of being overlooked, used, and forgotten. This wasn't about the United States title. Not for Hikuleo. It never was. This was about choosing a side and, more importantly, choosing himself. Backstage after the match, the tension could be cut with a knife. Jacob Fatu sat alone, tape peeling from his wrists, sweat and rage still clinging to his skin. The title he once held? Gone. Taken not by skill, but by betrayal. Solo Sikoa had pinned him, sure, but it was Hikuleo's interference that made it possible. The spear. The choke slam. The final nail in the coffin. Fatu didn't speak. He didn't move. He just stared at the concrete beneath him, as if trying to comprehend how family could cut deeper than any rival ever could. Elsewhere in the arena, Solo stood tall with the title slung over his shoulder and Hikuleo beside him. Arms crossed, eyes cold. The camera caught the briefest exchange between the two men. A nod. Just a nod. No words. No celebration. Because this wasn't a moment of victory. It was a declaration of war. The question everyone asked in the days that followed wasn't how it happened. It was why. Why would Hikuleo, who had so rarely been involved in bloodline business, insert himself into one of the most personal matches in WWE's recent history? Why would he turn on Jacob Fatu, a man who shared the same cultural blood, the same island roots, the same pride? The answer, as it turns out, was buried in years of silence. Hikuleo had spent most of his wrestling life caught between worlds. In New Japan, he was the outsider, the monster. In WWE's extended family tree, he was the distant cousin, the one you respect but never truly bring into the fold. While the Usos celebrated titles, while Roman claimed the head of the table, and while Solo was groomed as the new enforcer, Hikuleo waited for his moment. That moment never came. Until now. In an exclusive interview leaked just days after Night of Champions, a former trainer of Hikuleo's, revealed something chilling. He always said the same thing, the trainer recalled. They treat me like a backup, like insurance. But one day, I'll make them remember I was blood too. So when Solo Sikoa, himself outcast, doubted, underestimated, made the call, it wasn't just an invitation. It was vindication. Solo wasn't asking Hikuleo to betray Fatu. He was asking him to rise, to take his place in a new bloodline, not defined by legacy, but by dominance. And Hikuleo understood exactly what that meant. This wasn't the bloodline of Roman Reigns anymore. This wasn't a family of champions, it was a movement of monsters. With JC Mateo acting as Solo strategist and now Hikuleo as his enforcer, the new bloodline was becoming something terrifying, calculated, ruthless, and most of all, unpredictable. As for Jacob Fatu, he vanished after the match. No tweets, no interviews, just silence. Some say he returned home to reflect. Others say he's planning something darker. But one thing is certain, this war is far from over. And he won't take betrayal lying down. Meanwhile, the locker room has changed. Hikuleo's presence sends ripples through every hallway. Superstars whisper about his strength, his size, and the calm, almost eerie silence that follows him everywhere. He doesn't smile. He doesn't talk. He just walks beside Solo, step for step, like a lion unleashed. Paul Heyman, who once orchestrated the Bloodline's golden era, reportedly warned officials after the match. If you think Hikuleo is just a big man, you haven't been paying attention. That wasn't a heel turn. That was a beginning. The fans, too, are torn. Some feel betrayed. Others are exhilarated. Social media exploded with theories and speculation. Was this always the plan? Did Solo manipulate Hikuleo? Or did Hikuleo use Solo to finally take his spot in the family legacy? Is he loyal, or just another predator in the tribal jungle? In a rare backstage moment caught on a WWE exclusive, a cameraman recorded Hikuleo lacing up his boots after a match. Alone. Focused. A staff member nervously asked him about Fatu. Hikuleo didn't even look up. "I didn't turn on him," he said. "I turned toward myself." Those words echoed online for days. Because in a company and a family where loyalty is everything, Hikuleo didn't just rewrite the rules. He burned them. Now, Solo Sikoa has the gold. JC Mateo controls the chessboard. And Hikuleo? He enforces the will of the new bloodline. A will built not on tradition, but on fury. The WWE Universe waits. For Roman's reaction. For Fatu's retaliation. For the next storm to come. But deep down, they all know one thing. Hikuleo didn't just help Solo Sikoa win. He helped himself be seen. And now that the monster has stepped out of the shadows, he's not going back. Because this family war? It's only just begun. Let me know when you want the next part of this story, or if you'd like an image or a thumbnail to match the script.